It doesn't take that much to corrupt a relationship. 3 or 4 acts of infidelity, you're done. Virtually every time someone gets flipped upside down because of a betrayal in a relationship. After the betrayal happens, they say to themselves, there are all these signs I didn't pay attention to. Maybe the first sign is your partner starts to flirt a bit more with others. When you go out on a social occasion and not a lot more, just a bit more, and you decide because maybe you're timid than that's okay. You're not going to do anything about it. It's interesting that it happens. It grabs your attention and it means something. But what you decide is it's not worth paying attention to. The next 8 times that you go out, the same thing happens, but it happens at a somewhat accelerated rate. The person starts to go out without you and so on. There's this progression towards the end state of betrayal, and every time you get a little hint, you put it aside and you fail to take it into account. You're foregoing your opportunities to adjust the relationship at micro stages, because maybe what you should have done the first time that happened is you should have gone home with your partner and said, what the hell's going on? This is what was happening. Why are you doing that? Here's how you should have behaved. And of course, that's gonna be a fight. There's absolutely no doubt about it, but it might be a micro fight instead of a relationship over a fight. In order to keep a relationship healthy, it needs to be retooled at micro levels constantly, and when they finally do manifest themselves as unavoidable. Like when your partner says, I don't want to be with you anymore, or I've been with someone else for the last year, then the whole thing comes crashing. You're no longer in a relationship. You're no longer in a good relationship, and then all the other things become questionable. How many chances do you think you'll have in your life for a seriously high-quality, intimate relationship? You probably talk out at about 5. That's not that many chances, plus you get old quickly. By the time you're 45, you're not gonna have a family. And well, you can do that sometimes if you're male, if you're female, maybe. But it gets hard on people, so you know, not only do you not have that many chances, you don't have that much time, so you gotta get it right. So if you get it wrong, it costs you. Like, maybe it'll cost you 5 years, you've lost things there that you can't replace. You don't have that many chances, and it's burning up time. A divorce is very complicated. It's not so bad if you get divorced from someone. But often the reason that you're getting divorced is that one or the other, or both of you aren't that reasonable. But you might be negotiating with someone whose basic goal is to make sure that you don't have another day of success in the next 20 years. And if that's their goal, they will attain it. There are lots of ways people do that, and they usually do it by holding their children hostage. You want to avoid that, and then of course it's hard on the relationship you have with yours. Those are probably the most important relationships you have in your life. It might be parents, siblings, or your partner. When it comes right down to it, your parents are old and so are you. Your kids aren't, and they're just as close and they need you. And so you start twisting and messing that about. It's hard on your psyche. It's hard on the kids. When you're in the damn relationship, tell the person the truth and try to figure out what the truth is for you. Don't put up with any nonsense. Stand up for yourself, and also aim towards the good. If you do all those things, then your relationship is probably going to work. If you're trying to do all those things really, and you have a partner that will not, it's a rare person who won't do that if they're stepped along the way properly and they learn how to do it. Now, not everyone's like that, because you do run into some people who are basically devoted towards mayhem and trouble and then leave. But usually, a person is a balance between striving for the good and messing about in hell. And you know, you're both like that when you start a relationship and you try to tilt it towards the good. And then you won't run into that problem. So, you have to do that right from the beginning. It doesn't take that much to corrupt a relationship so that it's not really salvageable. And not for mistakes. 3 or 4 acts of infidelity, you're done. You're not gonna come back from that, because the fundamental element of trust is being removed. And then you can't communicate with the person because you don't know if they're telling you the truth, and then you don't know if you're dealing with reality. And if you're not dealing with reality, it's like good luck fixing that. It's like you're working on a ghost car while the real one is sitting in the shop. It's not gonna get you anywhere. Don't get in trouble to begin with. If you are in the trouble, well then you try to straighten yourself out and see if you can fix it. Your options aren't great, and it depends on the particularities of the situation. They're lying to you. They aren't aiming up, and you won't be able to tolerate being with them without becoming resentful, alcoholic, and homicidal. So that's a bad outcome. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. So you might as well leave. You know, you have to have that sorted out. There's gonna be lots of times in your marriage where you are seriously not happy, and sometimes that's gonna be because you're having conflict with your partner. But sometimes it's gonna be because all hell's broken loose around you. If you judge the success of your marriage, your happiness, what do you have when it's nothing but suffering? That's gonna be plenty of your life. What you want to have in your marriage is scrupulous honesty. I don't just mean that you tell each other the truth, because you can be brutal with the truth. I mean, the kind of honesty that's devoted toward thriving in love, and you want to act nobly in your relationship. You want to be reliable and productive and generous, and then if you're lucky now. And then you might be happy, and you might have a clear enough conscience so that in those rare moments where you are truly happy, you can also enjoy it without guilt. So you aim at something a lot higher than happiness, and then you welcome it.